Alright, so I decided to do my case study over the case of Kelly versus the Board of Trustees. This case drew my attention really because it involves something with Title IX that I don't really hear much about, and that is Title IX involving men. Usually, when you hear about Title IX, it's something to do, or at least to me, when I think of Title IX, I think of providing women the equal opportunity to participate in sports. So yeah, this one just drew my attention, and it looked like something that would be interesting for me to read about and do a case study over. To give the background of the case, it involved the men's swimming team at the University of Illinois, and it's the men's swimming team who was suing the school, which also was made up of the board of trustees, the chancellor of the school, the athletic director, and the assistant athletic director. The reason for the lawsuit was because the school was cutting the men's swimming team. And to be exact, they actually cut four teams, three of which were male programs. One was a female program, or a women's program. The reason for this was because there was a deficit in the budget, and there needed to be cuts made somewhere to help free up some money. And to kind of understand the whole story on this, you got to kind of rewind 10 years from when before this happened. The Office of Civil Rights of the United States Department of Education, which is a name that's way too long and needs to be shortened, but they told the University of Illinois 10 years ago that they needed to do a better job of adding female athletics to their program, because they currently had a 44% of their student body was made up of women, and they only had 23.4% of their athletic body made up of women. So there was about a 20% difference there on sports, the athletic body compared to the student body. So to figure out which programs they wanted to cut, they had something called the athletic board, which directed, which answered to the chancellor basically, but the athletic board of control, and they actually went to the athletic director to have him kind of put in his input on on what programs they think they should cut and how many they think they should cut. And the athletic director's name at the time was Ronald Gunther, and he based his decision off of seven things. The seven things were whether or not the Big Ten and NCAA sponsored a championship for the sport, the tradition of success at the school in that sport, the level of interest in the sport at the high school level, the adequacy of the facilities at the university, the level of interest of the fans, what gender and ethnic issues were involved, and then finally, and which was to me probably the most important, was the cost of the sport. Um, so, after taking in all these considerations, he decided that four programs were to be cut, three of them being men's, one of them being women's, and as I said, one of them being the men's swimming team. The swimming team sued the school over violation of Title IX. They argued that they were being discriminated against because of their gender, and that Title IX protects them of that discrimination. The courts ruled to an extent they were correct, but they said more importantly, Title IX just is to provide for equal opportunity of all people, regardless of your gender. So to provide equal opportunity for males as females. And one of the things they say needs to be done is the student population, whatever the percentages of female needs and male, needs to be pretty close to what the athletic body population is. So in this case, 44% of the student body was female. They wanted around 44% at least for females in the athletic body. So the court said that it's not about that; it's about providing equal opportunity. and they dismissed the case and they said that it was mute. Um, so it was kind of a dead deal for those guys. But it kind of brought up a good point. Like I said, it was just something that interested me, and I think as a future athletic director, dealing with Title IX is something that's extremely important, and that we need to understand um, the impact that it can have on our school, and we need to have a good concept and a good idea on what exactly the law states in regard to issues such as equality and fairness and providing opportunities and not discriminating against anybody, which I think can be really tricky because it always seems to be it seems to be interpreted differently by different courts or different judges. So you just kind of got to always stay up to date on that. One of the things that the book suggested, well, kind of suggested, was that for every sport you add, whether it be male or female, you could just add the exact same sport for the other gender. So if you had male basketball team, you can add a female basketball team to help keep up and to help be in line with Title IX. That's obviously just a pretty common sense thing. However, I think a big issue could be it also with Title IX is in regards to sports that are that the students are interested in. So maybe the women population at that school isn't interested in basketball, so the school would have no purpose in creating a women's basketball team. So you would run into an issue if you were to do it like that, I think, by just adding one for one. So I think you try to do the best you can with whenever you add a sport. Make sure that you're adding another sport that's kind of equal to, doesn't have to be the exact same sport, but just something that kind of keeps everything in line with your percentages on student body population compared to your athletic body population. Yeah, so just moving forward as an AD, as hopefully being an AD one day, I just want to continue learning more about Title IX, how to implement it into my program, and how to provide equal opportunities for athletics for all, regardless of whether you're male or female. So that is my presentation.